Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. We have with us today Shehrbano Rizvi, who is the author of the book Virsa, a culinary journey from Agra to Karachi. Let me briefly introduce Shehrbano. She calls herself a Karachi girl. She's born and raised in the City of Lights. Her family is originally from Agra, India, but her grandparents migrated from India to Karachi. She is a certified project management professional, PMP, and software engineer by profession. She's a Pakistani expat living in Qatar for over 16 years now. She has three beautiful children, Amna, Hamza, and Hasan, and she's a blogger. Her Insta handle is Diary of a PMP Mom, and like I said, she has recently published a book, Virsa, which has over 100 simple and authentic Pakistani family heirloom recipes that have been passed down from the generations. So, thank you, Shehrbano, for joining us.
Thank you, Mahwash, for having me.
And Shehrbano is with us on Mera Bachpan. As you know, it's an offshoot of Bachpan Ki Kahaniyan, a podcast that I started 9 months ago. Again, a labor of love, a project really close to my heart, which is the first ever educational podcast on Urdu stories for children. And Shehrbano was actually one of the first moms who sent me pictures of Amna, Hamza, and Hassan enjoying the podcast. She sent me these really cute videos that I posted on Bachpan Ki Kahaniyan Instagram account as well.
My kids absolutely love them. And I think before we start this, I think what you have done is brilliant because, it reminds us of cassette kahani wala era. But it is like so the stories are relevant, the story jo ke humne bachpan mein padhi thi, and the way you explain it is so in such a good way. They love to do the quiz at the end, and you kind of keep explaining the difficult words. I think it's brilliant.
Hey, thank you so much. That was the idea. The idea was, for the Pakistani children to stay connected to their roots, to their language, and both of my kids were born in the US. और मुझे काफी challenge लगा था. अब माशाल्लाह I have a 14 and a half year old and 12-year-old. So बड़े हो गए माशाल्लाह. But when they were young and I was not in Pakistan, I was in the US, it was quite difficult to find quality Urdu resource. So उससे से अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि I'm happy to get all these sweet messages जो मुझे मिलते हैं, and I'm really happy that it's working out well for families. So coming back to Shehrbano, Shehrbano, we want to talk about your book Virsa first, and tell us your story. What inspired you to start this book?
Okay, so actually, I was working with the bank before I started my family as a project manager in the IT department. And then when I started my family, I stopped working. I wanted to be a hands-on mom. Yahan pe वैसे भी you don't have dadi or nani and then that support system. So I stopped working. I took a 10-year career break, and then had 3 children. But then when my youngest one started school, that is when I realized that something is, I need to find myself again, because I thought I was the mother, I was the wife, I was everything, but the Shehrbano Rizvi had kind of, the person in me was missing. I kind of lost her along the way. So I was in quest of finding my own self. And usse kuch thoda arse pehle my father passed away as well. So it's like a turning point in your life where you kind of start questioning and thinking more. And that is when I started writing the blog, and it kind of resonated with people, and people started messaging me, and वहाँ से it grew. और फिर मैंने उसमें कुछ अम्मी की recipes भी share करनी शुरू करी. And they got quite popular but it was simple सी घर के खाने होते, nothing fancy, but they were like foolproof recipes in the way कि मुझे बिल्कुल before शादी I had never stepped into the kitchen to cook. Like to eat, yes, but to cook, never, because I was the youngest sibling. Of Karachi mein growing up, you have domestic help, and I had an older sister, so I was the most like the spoiled brat of the family. तो जब मैं दोहा मूव हुई थी तो उस वक्त started like cooking was something that a completely different territory. तो अब्बू मेरे मुझसे कहते थे कि देख तो लो कि अम्मी कैसे पकाती हैं, क्या खिलाओगी, क्या पकाओगी, how will you survive. So what I did was कि उस वक्त मैंने अम्मी से बैठ के, कुछ शादी से 2-3 महीने पहले अम्मी के साथ बैठे बैठे रेसिपियां लिखनी शुरू करी थी. अम्मी का अंदाजन इतना सा जरा सा ले लेना, चुटकी भर ये, मैं कहा नहीं ऐसे नहीं बताए मुझे, आई वांट इन टीस्पून्स, लेवल, हीट, सब चीजें डिटेल में चाहिए. So मैंने उनको काफी तंग किया, and then she eventually, like, so I wrote down those recipes, and whenever I cook from them, they never, like, they tasted like Ammi's khana. They never kind of failed me. So I started sharing those recipes because they were very exact and accurate to the T. So that got popular on the blog. But hey, well, I kept sharing. There was a recipe of the week section, or मैं कुछ एक चीज बनाती थी, and I would photograph it and I would just share it. And then Abbo passing away kind of changed things for us, because हमने, like, our siblings, he was an ophthalmologist, and he used to do a lot of, like, he was all for free, health honi chahiye Pakistan mein and all that. So he felt that, and he used to do this free eye clinic in the evenings and all of that. So after his passing away, हम तीनों बहन भाइयों ने, we did something with LRBT Eye Hospital, which is a free eye hospital in Pakistan and does amazing work. And that got me thinking, why didn't we do something like that for Abbo in his life? He would have been so happy to see his name played on a refraction room in LRBT in his life, like, why didn't we celebrate his legacy in our life? So that is basic thought process that got me thinking, okay, I want to do something for Ammi in her lifetime. I don't want, to do a tribute to her after she's gone, like we did for our father. So but that was the idea. It was like, kya karu. It wasn't easy to figure it out, but 1-2 a.m. late night mujhe sare bright idea aate hain. I was like, I think I need to do a recipe book. Recipes Ammi ki hai. I'm a photographer. I can photograph him myself. It's just about compiling them and getting the book out. He's like, okay, we can talk about it in the morning. But that is how it started, actually. Then it turned out that then I eventually, during the building of the book or book development process ke beech mein, I realized, ek dafa ek khayal aaya ki, why don't I do this, that, I am making the book for Ammi, but I put the profits for, from the book that comes to LRBT. So it's like a full cycle that, both my parents' legacy will continue forever. As long as that book sells, Ammi's recipe is going everywhere and the money goes back to LRBT. So I think wo mujhe jab idea, I was like, Mohsen, I got a brilliant idea. And, but that is how it all kind of fell into place, I would say. So that was the main basic idea ye tha ki I wanted to do something for Ammi in her lifetime, not after. Because, like, the reality is कि हर के सबको जाना है, all, every, so why not celebrate and let them enjoy that they, see that they're loved. And I'm sure, like, people will, जब मैं ये बोलती थी तो people say, no, he's still looking at you from the heavens above, and he knows कि you guys have done this. No, but it's having that feeling कि Ammi holding the book,
right,
and me seeing that was what I wanted to do for her.
This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And while you said it, Shehrbano, although मेरा बड़ा different objective था अपनी किताब का, लेकिन the moment when you said that you wanted your mom to hold that book in her lifetime, I remember when my the books came out before the launch. The first one I gave it to my mom, so she was holding it. I posted it on my the account as well. That feeling, and that moment is just etched in my memory forever, because it is such a beautiful feeling that here's this being who is going, no one is ever going to give that kind of unconditional love to you, right? And she's crying for you because she's so happy for you. And, the fact that she's been able to have it see it in her lifetime. That's amazing. But I want to know what. So you came up with this idea at 2 a.m., right? And you told your
All
husband.
the ideas anyway.
Exactly. Right. So you must be a night owl then, है ना? Are
I
you a
am a
night
high.
owl? हाँ,
पढ़ाई भी करती थी ना तो रात भर
हाँ.
जाग के I couldn't do like a 6 a.m. alarm in the morning or which is good.
Right. Oh, Shehrbano, we are so much alike actually that way because बहुत सी चीजें जो आपने बोली ना पहले आपने वो भी बोला जब कि you didn't go into the kitchen before you got married. इसमें focus ये था ना कि पढ़ाई करनी है, right? और exactly मेरा था I was at Lounge and मेरा यहाँ खत्म हुआ है. I did my MBA from there. So 2002 में हमारा thesis final project था वो खत्म हुआ and I think I got married within the same month. And मुझे उसकी इतनी टेंशन नहीं थी because I was going to live on my own and I was thinking कि यार मैं जाऊंगी मुझे तो ये भी नहीं पता कि जब जो ये पुलाव है ये ब्राउन कैसे हो जाता है like राइस वाइट राइस वर्सेस ब्राउन
रेसिपियां मुझे डिक्टेट करा रही होती थी ना और अब्बू बेचारे परेशान हो रहे होते थे कि कम से कम खड़े होकर देख तो लो कि बुनाई कहते किसको है लाइक लेना हम लाइक उसका मतलब क्या है अम्मी मुझे एक्सप्लेन कर दें अब्बू वुड बी लाइक एक दफा खड़ी हो जाओ जरा साथ में क्या है सो दैट्स व्हाई इन दिस बुक that और मैंने ये भी स्ट्रगल किया कि जब मैं यहाँ पे आ गई थी I would stop like I would see an Indian Pakistani auntie in a grocery store and I would stop them to ask which dal is which because मुझे नहीं पता था कि येलो दाल जो पक जाती है वो असली में ऑरेंज होती है that's bad so इस वजह से what I've done is in this book I have शुरू में ना I put these small guides as well like I have a visual lentil guide where I have put like I've photographed some lentils that are जिसकी recipes हैं किताब में and kind of label them कि कौन सी है I've talked about some of the ingredients जो कि उर्दू में कुछ होते हैं अब अम्मी would say जायफल जवतरी and then I'm like lost what is जायफल जवतरी so I've put like a English Urdu guide as well
right what is that वैसे
जायफल जवतरी is I think जायफल is nutmeg I'm
अच्छा okay
all right so one is nutmeg and one is something else so it was तो मैंने फिर इस बुक में इस तरह की छोटी-छोटी गाइड्स रखी हैं ताकि मुझ जैसे लोग जिनको भुनाई और दम और फिर उसको चावलों में दम पे रख देना
what does that mean
yeah exactly for Ammi it was just like ना दम पे रख देना अच्छा वो होता क्या है तो style guides कि भुनाई क्या है और धुंगार देना या तड़का what are all those
right
especially because my audience is not just living out abroad it's not just Pakistanis it's like there are a lot of other people other nationalities who've been very interested who are interested in Pakistani Indian cuisine are very interested in purchasing the book so it's like a guide for everybody to understand
that's so brilliant and I can so relate to it because exactly मैं वही बात कर रही थी कि उसके बाद मैंने एक नोटबुक बनाई जिसके अंदर अम्मी से पूछा कि अम्मी बेसिक बता दें कि कैसी चीजें बनाते हैं and she was exactly like कि यार वो गोश्त को ले घी तेल डाल के वो डाल के और उसको गोश्त को भून लेना and like wait वो wait पहले मुझे ये बताएं कि पतीली का साइज कितना हो कितना कप डालना है ऑयल इस तरह से so coming from that you have kept that in mind your own experience and for starters जो है वो किस तरह से हर चीज करनी है so everyone if you are starting out don't be afraid get Virsa and you will get all the Shehrbano is included सारी guides and सब कुछ उसके अंदर ताकि जो आपको help कर सके नहीं that's amazing अच्छा तो मैं I wanted to ask you कि when you came up with the idea and when did you share it with your mother and what was her reaction
अम्मी को मैंने I think like casually I said it was back in 2018 when I had this idea and then I was going to visit her in Canada she lives with my brother there so I was like Ammi मैंने ये सोचा है so but I want to start out and there was always a fear after losing one parent there was always a fear कि मैं अम्मी की तस्वीर तो खींच लूं जो मुझे किताब के लिए चाहिए because like you kind of back of your mind और जितना ये delay हो रहा था ना with the COVID the launch was actually in April planned for April, but COVID and everything. And the only thing that I was worried about is that, you know, you don't know how much time anybody has. She's mashallah 72 years old. I lost Abbo at 73. So, you know, in my mind, I was like, I don't know how much time I have. So, wo panic tha mere andar ek. So, the first thing I did was, कि मैं जब December में अम्मी से मिलने गई, so I did Ammi and Mera shoot. The picture that is in the book, this one. This was the first shoot I did for Ammi, for the book. And उस वक्त Ammi was like, अच्छा ठीक है बनाएगी, you know, she's saying कि Ammi I think didn't even realize कि, you know, what kind of book I'm talking about. So yeah, there's a couple of pictures from that shoot in this book.
Oh, that's
so this was, yeah, this was the first one that I did. But I don't think Ammi knew the extent of कि मैं कितनी recipes डालूंगी, it will be a hardcover or whatever, you know. So she's like, अच्छा ठीक है, you know, that's really nice. And Ammi is a woman of very little words, like, you know, she doesn't say much. So so I was like, अच्छा ठीक है, you know. But now, I mean, when she's held it, it's like, you know, when she got her copy in the mail, she was like, this is beautiful. And like, again, she didn't say much. फिर मैं अपनी बहन से पूछ रही थी, वो आजकल अपनी बहन के पास है, तब मैं अपनी बहन से पूछ रही थी कि अम्मी का क्या रिएक्शन था. So she goes like, I think थोड़ा इतरा रही हैं इतनी बड़ी अपनी देख के. And you know, then she was the day she did it, she called all her siblings on video call and she was showing the book. So she, you know, that is like, I don't even think they expected the book to be, you know, how it has turned out, mashallah. So
mashallah, mashallah.
she's happy.
So you shot all the recipes, like सब कुछ फिर Canada में जब गए उस वक्त किया सारा?
नहीं. So
okay.
like, so उस वक्त तो I just did Ammi's shoot and then I came back and I said कि अच्छा ठीक है, अब मैं किताब पे काम करना शुरू करूँगी. तो 2019 अब होता ये था कि since I am a freelance photographer as well, and you know, I would get कि ये shoot करना है, or some client would come, तो this would always take like, you know, a back seat. तो हो ये रहा था कि एक पूरे महीने में मैंने 1-2 रेसिपी शूट कर ली, क्योंकि मैं खुद पकाती थी, पकाया, स्टाइल किया, you know, वीकेंड पे टाइम मिला तो कर लिया. तो इस पेस पे चल रही थी वो. फिर I think October 2019 I realized कि, you know, अम्मी की बर्थडे नवंबर में आती है. And then I calculated कि, you know, she's turning 72, and then again that panic struck in कि इस pace पे अगर मैं करती रही, क्योंकि by October मेरे पास मेरे ख्याल में कोई 8-10 recipes shoot करी थी पूरे साल में.
Okay.
I was like, okay. Then I said no to every, like, you know, every work that was coming my way. I was like, I am booked for 3 months. I booked my own calendar for myself. And I started cooking and shooting. So from, I think, mid-October to end of December.
Okay.
Every day there were like cooking 6 recipes, 5 to 6 recipes, and then styling and photographing them. So I did the photography go mein, usme, and then I went into the writing of it. So I think I sent my manuscript, like, you know, everything and the pictures and everything by the end of February. So वो 2 महीने मैंने उसको सब लिखने और उसमें लगाया. But yeah, it was a lot of work जो मैंने 5 महीने में किया.
Absolutely, I can imagine, because food photography is, you know, being a photographer myself, I understand that it requires a lot of time and, you know, effort, and there are ingredients and the setting and the lighting and you know, and then cooking first. And then
you don't have much time to shoot, like, you know, आपने धुआं दिखाना है.
Exactly.
It's not gonna, the koila is not gonna stay that way for a long time. So everything needs to be set up and you have to be quick. Otherwise the food एकदम से starts looking sad, you know. ठंडा होना शुरू जाता है, उसके ऊपर एक परत, you know, like.
Exactly, the oil is gone.
So yeah, so उसमें I think वो 2-3 महीने जो मैंने खाना पकाया और शूट किया, उसमें हमारी जो live-in nanny है, she was a major help, Connie. So, you know, she would be helping me in the kitchen, or वो जल्दी you know, change हो रहा है, I would like do all the setting, everything, and the dish last minute पे वो आ रही है ताकि जल्दी से बस तस्वीर खिंच जाए. So yeah, and then my friends were very happy in those 3 months because they were like, आज क्या पका है, आज के menu.
Right.
So
Acha,
yeah.
tell me about the cover, the book cover. Is it a photograph or I don't know? I was just looking at it online. It seems that it is. It's not a photograph. Something like on it. No,
It's
it is a.
one. So this is one photograph.
It's
It's
a
like a
photograph.
wrapped up
Okay.
cover. हाँ, it's
ठीक
a
है.
photograph.
Okay.
And ये मेरी एक पुरानी baking sheet थी. उसके ऊपर I actually shared on my Insta as well the BTS of shooting this.
Okay.
And the spoons actually are my friends. मेरी एक दोस्त है यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी, and she is from Delhi.
Okay.
और उसकी दादी के ये स्पूल्स थे. तो you know when I was like when photographing I was running out of props as well. ना आप कितना खरीदेंगे, कितने घर में अलग अलग तरह के बर्तन होंगे. So my friends were like, you know, close friends were like, come over and take what you like, you know, to use for props and everything. So she gave me these spoons, and when she gave me these spoons, I was like, they are so pretty and
They're
antique. उसकी
absolutely
दादी
beautiful.
के पुराने.
Again,
So
Virsa, right?
yeah, and I was like, you know, this is so perfect because it goes with the Agra to Karachi. So these spoons are actually uski dadi, unka naam tha Uma. She was in Lahore pre-partition. She moved to Delhi, and ye unke spoons hai. So it's like a, you know, the story was just coming together. So like it just, I was like, this
Beautifully,
is
yeah.
true heritage of the India Pakistan, you know, subcontinent. And I think when I shot this, I didn't, you know, there were other options for the cover as well. But when I shot this, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. This is the cover. So
It's absolutely beautiful. Acha, I want to take a step back and from the book. I want to ask you this, and I want to ask you this because I get asked this question a lot. Uh, because I'm an MBA and I worked in the corporate world for a couple of years. And then while I was taking time off, that's why I say I see that our story is quite similar.
very similar. Yeah.
I took time off and I was in Karachi at the time. And I went to the art school. So I went to IBS and I learned photography. And since then, I've been working as a freelance photographer, and you know that's when the book came out, and also uske saath phir, you know, other projects, like for example, this project, Bachpan Ki Kahaniyan, is very different from. But I came into the creative world. अच्छा, very interesting. मैं बताऊँ कि शुरू में when I looked at a handle also PMP, it didn't cross my mind. I don't know. I just didn't click me. कि PMP, you know, you are basically meaning project management professional, right? So now when I read you know Virsa.com, again a beautiful site. तो उसमें मैं सारा पढ़ी थी अभी इससे पहले. So I saw that and I'm like I need to ask her that, you know, from being that software engineer, you know, in tech corporate world, you know, to becoming a creative. And not only, you know, it's not only a book that you've compiled, it's a aesthetically beautiful book, you know, even though I don't have it in my hands, but I can see, like, you know, from what I see on the net, it's absolutely brilliant. Your own portraits, I don't know if you've taken, it's a self-portrait, so the lighting is beautiful. So tell us about that journey. You know, when did you discover the artist in you? Was it always there and you were sort of ignoring it, or was it like you realized much later that you had that creative ability in you?
No, so I'll tell you a funny story. I wanted to go to NCA.
Okay.
When but मेरी मुसीबत ये थी कि I was a good student. So मैंने
I'm sorry, I have to stop you here because मुझे honestly ऐसे लग रहा है कि you're just saying what, you know, my own life story. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I think it's very like उस ज़माने में as an 80s child, I think दो fields होती थी. आपको या डॉक्टर बनना है या इंजीनियर बनना है.
Right.
When you say arts, it used to be कि arts तो अच्छे student जो science और maths में अच्छे नहीं होते,
like बच्चे नहीं
it
जाते.
was a misconception at that point. मेरी कमबख्ती ये आई थी कि मैंने मैट्रिक में पोजीशन आई, इंटर में पोजीशन आई, and my family मुझसे पहले सारी जो बड़ी cousins हैं girls, they were doctors. You know, I have a lot of doctors in the family. Abbo, Puppo, mom. You know, everybody is a very highly saturated doctor family. So there was like this clear वो कि ये तो doctor ही बनेगी, and you know इसके grades भी इतने अच्छे आ रहे हैं and all that. So when I said NCA, my parents were like, what? पहली चीज ये थी कि लाहौर में कोई नहीं है, तुम अकेले कैसे जाओगी. IBS was very new at that time, so and in hindsight I think I should have done that, but उस वक्त लाहौर जाने की और हॉस्टल में रहने की इजाजत का कोई करीब वो नहीं था. My and they said नहीं पहले तो मुझे I had to fight the doctor off, I was like कि मुझे डॉक्टर तो बनना नहीं है. What I'll do is I'll go into, so what I did was कि software engineering I picked because that was still creative. You create software, right? So that creative कीड़ा was always there, and I was like I can't be a hardware, क्योंकि मेरा NED में भी admission हो गया था हर जगह, and everybody's like NED नहीं जा रही हो, NED छोड़ के fast जा रही हो, like fast को कोई इतना नहीं जानता था उस वक्त computer software engineering के institute के. I was like, अगर मुझे इसी field में रहना, I need to still do something, create something. So I used to, I was a software programmer. I did Java programming, and I got good at that because good academically अच्छी थी, और फिर उसके बाद creative वो angle भी था उसमें, तो it used to turn out it was a good combination for my software engineering career. But जैसे ही मुझे and then I started working at a software house, developing वो सब कुछ. इस सब में क्रिएटिव साइड को बंद करा दिया गया था कि ये तुम बाद में कर लेना, पहले डिग्री कर लो, उसके बाद कुछ करती रहना. So I didn't, and यहाँ पे भी जब मैं दोहा मूव हुई, फिर I started working at this bank, and वहाँ पे 3-4 साल मैंने उसी में project management, I did my PMP उसके दौरान. तो वो क्रिएटिव साइड कहीं रह गई थी. And then जब मुझे खुद ऑफ टाइम ये बच्चों के साथ वो मिला, तो then I liked to photograph things. मैंने बीच में कुछ होता था, I would यहाँ पे VCU का कैंपस है कतर में, तो वहाँ पे वाटर कलर पेंटिंग का कोर्स कर लिया. So I used to do this. I used to बीच में मैंने जो क्या कहते हैं आपके विल्टन के केक डेकोरेटिंग कोर्सेज हैं वो करे मैंने. फिर I started a little cake decorating business. So always there was a outlet for the creative side. But when I found photography, I think that kind of ended my quest for looking further, photography and writing and storytelling. So yeah, that has been how it kind of moved. And my bank was like, you come back and join as the project manager. I'm like, thank you very much. I am much content, and like there's a lot of contentment with what I do. Like, and like alhamdulillah, I'm much happy in this now. So there's no looking back to the corporate world. So that is why when I came up with the handle, I was like, I was like kind of being a mother and being a project manager, and I was in the crisis of finding my own identity. एक वो भी होता है ना कि आपने इतना कुछ किया, you were at a good position at a corporate career, जहाँ पे मैंने जिस point पे मैंने छोड़ा था, and then I was just Amna's mom, or Mohsin's wife, or it just, so that used to bother me. So here I started this and then created my own identity, which is come this far, and it sometimes amazes me how. And so obviously social media, or hum is age mein hai jisme it's much easier to kind of have your voice and be heard, and so alhamdulillah, but that has been the path.
Hey, mashallah, this is amazing. Or I was just wondering while you were talking, was there any at any point because we learn and then we have to unlearn, right? And a lot of things, like you said, आपने तो इनसे की बात की, मैंने तो बात भी नहीं की घर में, क्योंकि again with the youngest of the cousins from both sides, and we have mashallah this list of doctors, engineers, CAs, CFAs, lawyers, so and then by the time मेरी बारी आई तो मेरे जो latest था वो MBAs का था, तो I was like कि पता बहुत जल्दी से मैट्रिक से पता था कि MBA ही करना है. और तो there was always this I guess खुद ही से ये था कि एक ज़हन में बना हुआ था, एक मेंटल ब्लॉक था, I should say, कि यार लाइक बच्चे जो हैं वो तो इन्हीं चीजों में जाते हैं.
I'm so glad things are changing and there's so many more career, options for kids these days. Right. Even in Pakistan, which I feel very happy about, there's like a lot of different fields that young girls and boys are going into. But हमारे ज़माने में it was just like MBA कर लो या डॉक्टर बन जाओ या इंजीनियर बन जाओ, and that's
Punjab,
it.
exactly.
उस ज़माने में
But
सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग was a new field actually.
right, absolutely.
उसकी भी थोड़ी सी मुझे लड़ाई करनी पड़ी थी क्योंकि वो was like नहीं 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 NED में जाओ, NED में एडमिशन जिसका हो जाता कौन नहीं जाता, मैं
सही नहीं,
so
बट मैं
yeah.
ये बात कर रही थी कि even after I went to IBS, and so this opened up the whole new sort of undiscovered world for me, that a world that I was completely oblivious to, at least. Or I really started enjoying myself, but I did have a phase where I had a identity issue, because I was like, how do I explain myself? And I'm just telling you, MBA. When I went to Houston, I did my PHR as well, profession in human resources. I had a stint at Cornell as well in human resources. So ये सारी चीजें थी. So side by side में दोनों चीजें लेकर चल रही थी, because I was like, oh, लोग क्या कहेंगे कि मैंने इतना exactly what you were saying, कितना पढ़ के, and I'm doing photography, और मैं eventually art में आ गई. So it took me a while to see myself, at least, or to see my skills as building blocks. And I realized that I don't have to see myself either or. I have to see how it's adding layers to me, and how it is giving me depth. But I'm wondering, because our story is so similar, that because you're saying, mashallah, that you're at peace with yourself now, and you're happy with what you have become, or what you're doing, or you're becoming. But did you at any point have that feeling कि यार मैं or how long did it take to overcome and to come to that place of peace with yourself?
I think there have been times where like my older sister, she's a doctor. So उसने अपनी पहले residency वगैरह करके, then she took a career break because of the kids and family and all. But then she went and she did like in academics, उसी अपनी field में, she did her PhD in health informatics and all that. So when she was like kind of and I'm not comparing myself, but when she was kind of climbing that ladder, I used to feel कि sometimes कि मैंने सही choice करी है कि I've left what like my strengths were, जिसमें मैंने masters किया हुआ है, जिसमें PMB किया हुआ है, and all that, and I'm just not using that, and I've completely switched to this creative field. But Mahwash, very frankly, what used to keep me going is the feedback that used to come. कभी-कभी मुझे होता था कि when I initially started my blog, and I would be like, people monetize from their blog, and when will that happen? Because I just put so much effort and work and into this, but it's not really. It was just my creative outlet. It was not that I was doing any paid or sponsored post or anything. But what kept me going would be things like some auntie, she sent me a message के आपकी चिकन पैटीज की रेसिपी जो है वो मैंने बनाई, और मेरे बच्चों को हर अफ्तार में वो चाहिए होती है, और हर अफ्तारी से पहले जब हम बैठे हुए दुआ करते हैं तो we remember you and your kids in the dua. And as I say it, I have goosebumps, and I was like, this is what I'm earning, and this is probably more important than climbing that corporate ladder, which was obviously giving me much more money and much more this is like, because it's a passion project, it's not like a monetary thing that I'm doing, and alhamdulillah I'm in a position where I don't have to kind of one income is enough for our family, and I don't have to work for that purpose. But these kind of things would touch my heart, and I would be like, whoa, I'm like at a random dining table in pata nahi kiske ghar, if I can touch one life like through my blog and get duas in return, I think that is earning a lot of a lot much more than what money or corporate job gives you. So that was one, that kind of gave me the peace, and okay, what I'm doing is actually making a difference. And then I also shared my struggles with infertility treatments, and yeah, I've had trouble conceiving my first child. And then I share my depression story. Like I struggled with depression, clinical depression. So वो जो people relate to it, and then वो जो feedback आता है, and making somebody feel that they're not alone in this, and there is hope. Like, there are young girls who message me that, they have the similar issue. They would read my blog and they would like, we had similar issues, but seeing you gives us hope. Mashallah, now I have 3 kids. So, so if you can do that, I think, Allah has given me the power to touch somebody else's random stranger's life. I think that kind of gave me the peace that, what I'm doing is what was meant for me, rather than just being a project manager, making other people rich, working in the corporate career is just making other people rich and richer. Yeah, so that kind of, and what I did was to monitor. That is when I started branched off into the PMP Mom Studio, because I used to feel my blog is my space where I write my heart out. I don't want to write about stuff, or do not want it to be an advertising channel for for brands. I do collabs and sponsored posts, but only the brands that I genuinely like, use in my house or work, so if they approach me, then obviously, it will be coming from my heart. I can't write if it's not coming from my heart. I did like venture into I did a collab where I had was sponsored post. I had this most like the most difficult post was to write was that post, because it was not coming from my heart, and I'm like, this is not for me. So that is when I branched out to photography as my monetizing mode for as like. So like how Mohsen puts it is कि तुमने हमने कलम नहीं बेचा. You're selling your skill of photography and creating their content for them, but you're not selling what you think and what you write. So so that's how I balanced it off. So then the photography picked up, and then blog is kind of my own space. And yeah, I'm pretty content with it now.
Mashallah, that's amazing. That's really nice to know. I want to read something that I read from your website. Guys, it's virsacookbook.com, and it says, "My parents, the reason behind writing this book." And it says, with your permission, Shehrbano.
Please go ahead.
It is, losing a parent is a life-changing event. It makes you ponder over every little detail and everything you could have and should have done to make them proud. I lost my father, Dr. Hasan Rizvi, to lung cancer in September 2014. He was an ophthalmologist by profession and a philanthropist at heart. His passing left us all completely devastated. I always wished Abbo could see with what his children have become and what his children have done to carry on his legacy after his demise. However, I want Ammi to be happy today and forever, so I wrote this book. So I sort of wanted to end on this beautiful note, which Shehrbano has shared. Is really, really touching. I think one doesn't even need to go into your childhood to really see the value system that you sort of acquired from your parents. And I'm sure that your Abbo must be really, really proud of you and really, really happy looking down from the heavens above. So thank you so much, Shehrbano, for sharing your story with us, for inspiring us, and for writing this, documenting this beautiful book. Just may, like you say, it is a passion project and it is a labor of love. You can go to virsacookbook.com to order, right? Can you just quickly let us know how to order the book, please?
So virsacookbook.com is the website where you can go and place your order. The book is available in Pakistan, Qatar, UAE. We're trying to add Australia and UK as well. We have actually taken taking pre-orders for that in US and Canada. Um, and we actually sold out like so quickly that now we're taking pre-orders for, and the next print is in print right now, and inshallah would be available back in stock by end of this month. So what you can do is you can order your book in these regions. In Pakistan, it's cash on delivery and with free delivery throughout Pakistan. And the reason why, also Mahwash, I wanted to, so the book is available at Liberty Books and all, and there's a Kindle version available on Amazon as well. But the reason why I wanted to distribute, like it's a mammoth of a task distributing these books ourselves as well, right? Through the, it's like, but we undertook that because distribution through these and you're a published author yourself, that so much is, such a big chunk these distributors and these bookstores take, that you can't really have a lot of profit on the book. You don't really make any profit on the book.
Yeah.
But my purpose was I wanted to donate to LRBT. So if I was actually putting it on Amazon, like the hardcover, I would get like $2 a book. And तो उसमें मैं अपनी cost कब cover करती और फिर कब profit होता, that would have been a very long journey. Liberty Books has some copies, but again, the distribution cost of that is high. So, why give to that when I can sell myself and give that money to LRBT? So that was the major goal behind this book, this website. And what we've tried to do is that even though it's available at Liberty Books in Pakistan, for the same price, you get it delivered to your house free of cost. So, we want to encourage people to order through the website. Right. We can maximize the profit that we will give back to LRBT. And I'm so thankful to everybody who's been pouring, showering with all the love and, and making this a success. And I'm so, so glad that, that all that money would be treating patients and fighting blindness in Pakistan.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. So everyone is, again, it's virsacookbook.com, and when you will be buying this book, you are basically helping LRBT, and so it's for a great, great cause. Once again, thank you so much, Shehrbano, for joining us, and wish you all the very best, and we're super proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.